The great hall of Nexus Prime Station was quiet. 12 glass pods stood in a circle, each one holding a different alien being. They had been sleeping for 50 years. Inside each pod, strange creatures floated in blue liquid. Their bodies did not move. Their minds did not think. They were frozen in time. These were the leaders of the Galactic Council. They ruled over hundreds of worlds and billions of beings across the galaxy. But 50 years ago, they had a problem they could not solve. Humans had asked to join their council. The aliens did not know what to do. Humans are too wild, one alien had said. They fight too much, said another. They grow too fast, a third had added. So the council made a choice. They would freeze themselves and let their computers decide what to do about humans. It seemed like a good idea at the time. The computers would watch the humans and make the right choice when the time came. The computers had been watching for 50 years. Now they were ready to act. Far away, on a human ship floating near Mars, Commander Jake Morrison stared at his screen. The numbers made no sense. His ship's computers were showing energy readings that should not exist. Something big was coming toward Earth. "Lisa, come look at this," Jake called to his science officer. Dr. Lisa Chang walked over to Jake's station. She was a smart woman who had studied alien technology for 20 years. When she saw the screen, her face went white. "Those energy readings are massive," she said. "Whatever is coming, it's not human." Jake felt his stomach drop. How long until they reach Earth? Lisa typed quickly on her computer. 3 days, maybe 4. The energy patterns match what we've seen in old alien ship designs. But Jake, these readings show at least 50 ships. Maybe more. Jake grabbed his communication device. "Get me Earth Command. Now." On the other side of the galaxy, a small farming world called Kepler 442b was having a quiet day. Ben Taylor walked through his fields, checking on his crops. The corn was growing well. The sky was blue and clear. Everything seemed normal, but his animals were acting strange. The cows stayed close together in one corner of the field. The chickens would not leave their co-op. Even his old dog Max was hiding under the porch. Dad, come quick." His daughter Katie ran up to him. She was only 8 years old, but she was smart like her mother. "What is it, sweetheart?" Ben asked. "I saw pretty lights in the sky last night. They were moving in patterns, like they were dancing." Ben looked up at the sky. It was still blue and clear, but he felt something was wrong. The animals knew it too. On Earth, President Amanda Cross sat in her office in Washington. She was reading reports from space. None of them were good. General Paul Robinson knocked on her door. "Come in, Paul," she said. The general's face was serious. "We have a problem, Madam President. Our deep space sensors are picking up multiple fleets moving toward human space. They're coming from different directions, but they'll all arrive at the same time." Amanda felt a chill run down her back. "How many ships?" "At least 200, maybe more. They're using technology we don't understand. Our computers think they're planning to attack." Amanda stood up and walked to her window. She could see people walking on the street below. They had no idea what was coming. "How long do we have?" 4 days, maybe 5. The fleets are moving fast. Call an emergency meeting. Get all the military leaders here in 2 hours. And Paul, start moving our defense fleets into position. Quietly. We don't want to cause panic. Back on Nexus Prime Station, the computers were working. They had been programmed 50 years ago to solve the human problem. The solution was simple. Remove the humans. If humans did not exist, they could not cause trouble. The computers had been patient. They had watched as humans spread to new worlds. They had seen humans build bigger ships and better weapons. They had noted how humans worked together when they faced danger, But the computers did not understand humans. They only saw data and numbers. They could not see the human heart or the human spirit. They could not understand why humans fought so hard to protect each other. The computers sent their orders to the old enemies of the Galactic Council. These were alien races that had left the Council long ago. They called themselves the Purification Fleet. They believed that young races like humans should be destroyed before they became too strong. The Purification Fleet had been waiting for this moment. They had built their ships and trained their soldiers. They had studied human weaknesses and planned their attack. They thought it would be easy. Admiral Frank Davis received the emergency call while he was eating dinner with his family. His wife knew from his face that something was very wrong. "I have to go," Frank said. "There's trouble coming." His wife nodded. She had been married to a soldier for 20 years. She knew that look. "Be careful, Frank. Come home to us." Frank kissed his wife and children goodbye. He did not know when he would see them again. At the spaceport, ships were already preparing to launch. Captains were calling their crews back from leave. Engineers were checking weapons and shields. Everyone could feel that something big was about to happen. The human fleet was not as big as the alien fleets. Human ships were not as advanced as alien ships. But humans had something the aliens did not expect. They had the will to fight for their homes and families. On the farming world, Ben Taylor watched the sunset with his daughter. The pretty lights Katie had seen were getting brighter. Soon, everyone would see them. Soon, everyone would know that humanity was no longer alone in the galaxy. The sleeping council members could not know that their computers had made a terrible mistake. They could not know that they had started a war that would change the galaxy forever. They could not know that humans would not give up without a fight. The war was coming, and humanity was not ready. But they would learn to be ready very quickly. Admiral Frank Davis stood in the command center of Earth's biggest space station. Around him, officers worked at their computers, sending messages to human ships across the galaxy. The room was full of noise and activity. "Recall all exploration." "Ships," Frank ordered. "I want every human vessel back in our space within 3 days." "Sir, the new horizon is on the edge of the galaxy," said his aide. "Captain Maria Santos says they're close to making first contact with a friendly alien race." Frank's jaw was tight. "Tell Captain Santos that first contact will have to wait. We need every ship we can get." Far away, Captain Maria Santos read the recall order on her ship's bridge. She had spent 2 years traveling to this distant star system. Her mission was to meet with aliens who had sent peaceful messages to Earth. Now she had to abandon everything. "Ma'am, what should we tell the aliens?" asked her first officer. "They're expecting us to arrive tomorrow." Maria looked out at the stars. "Send them a message. Tell them humans have to deal with a problem at home. Tell them we hope to meet them again when this is over." She turned to her crew. "Set course for Earth. Maximum speed." On Mars, the red planet was changing quickly. Ryan Clark watched as giant machines moved across the landscape. Construction robots that usually built homes and factories were now building gun positions and shield generators. Ryan's team worked day and night to prepare the planet's defenses. They had never built military equipment before, but they learned fast. Humans were good at learning when their lives depended on it. "Ryan, we need more power for the shield generators," called his assistant, Emma. She was a scientist who studied alien life forms. Now she was learning to build weapons. "Use the terraforming reactors," Ryan said. "We can live without green grass for a while. We can't live without shields." Emma nodded and ran to reprogram the power systems. All across Mars, scientists and engineers were becoming soldiers. They did not have a choice. On Earth, Dr. Chris Adams worked in a small room filled with computers. He was listening to alien radio signals that human ships had picked up in space. The aliens were talking to each other, planning their attack. Chris had studied alien languages for 15 years. He could understand some of what they were saying. What he heard made him afraid. They call themselves the Purification Fleet, he told General Robinson. They think young races like humans are dangerous. They want to destroy us before we become too strong. How many ships are coming? The general asked. At least 300, maybe more. They have been planning this for a long time. But General, there's something strange. Their information about us is old. They think we still use the same technology we had 50 years ago. General Robinson smiled for the first time in days. Then they're in for a surprise. Across human space, something amazing was happening. When people heard about the coming attack, they did not panic. They did not run away. Instead, they got ready to fight. On the mining world of Ceres, workers turned their rock-cutting machines into weapons. On the ocean world of Aquarius, fishermen offered their boats to the Navy. On New Tokyo, children started learning to use computers to help the military. Amy Johnson was only 19 years old. She worked at a communication station near Earth. When she heard alien radio signals, she started trying to break their codes. She was very good with computers. I think I can understand some of their battle plans, Amy told her boss. They're going to attack our outer colonies first. They think we'll surrender when we see how strong they are. Her boss, an old man named Bill Carter, shook his head. They don't know humans very well, do they? Amy smiled. No, sir, they don't. The first human ships started arriving from the outer galaxy. Captain Santos brought her ship into Earth orbit and was amazed by what she saw. The space around Earth was full of ships. Some were military vessels with big guns. Others were cargo ships that had been turned into fighters. Even small private ships had come to help defend Earth. This is New Horizon requesting docking instructions. Maria called over the radio. Welcome home, New Horizon, came the reply. Report to Admiral Davis for assignment. And Captain, thank you for coming back. Maria felt proud to be human. When Earth called, everyone came home. On the colony world of Haven, Colonel Steve Parker looked at his small force of soldiers. He had only 200 people to defend a world with 50,000 colonists. The aliens were sending thousands of ships. Sir, maybe we should evacuate the civilians, suggested his second officer, Lieutenant Sarah Bell. I already asked them, Steve said. They voted to stay and fight. Every single one of them. Sarah was surprised. Even the children? The older. Kids want to help with communications and supplies. The younger ones are being moved to the safest shelters we can build. But nobody is running away. Steve looked out at the colony. Farmers were building walls around their towns. Teachers were learning to use weapons. Even the old people were helping however they could. On Earth, a 16-year-old boy named Alex White was doing something that would change the war. From his bedroom, he was hacking into alien computer systems. Alex was very good with computers. Better than most adults. I'm in, Alex told his friends over the internet. I can see their ship positions and battle plans. I'm sending everything to the military. His friend Jake Martinez was also good with computers. I'll help you set up a communication network. If we can stay connected, we can give our ships real-time information about alien movements. Soon, teenagers all over Earth were working together to spy on the aliens. The military was amazed. These kids could do things with computers that trained. Soldiers could not do. Dr. Nathan Brooks worked in a secret research facility under the ocean. He was studying pieces of alien technology that human scouts had found. Nathan was looking for weaknesses in alien shields and weapons. I think I found something, Nathan told his team. Their shields work differently than ours. If we change our weapons to this frequency, we might be able to punch through their defenses. How long to modify our weapons? Asked his assistant. If we work around the clock, maybe 2 days. We need to hurry. The aliens will be here soon. All across human space, people were getting ready. Soldiers cleaned their weapons. Engineers built new defenses. Scientists worked on better armor and shields. Even artists and musicians helped by keeping people's spirits high. The aliens thought humans would be easy to defeat. They had fought many young races before. Usually, the young races gave up quickly when they saw how powerful the purification fleet was. But humans were different. Instead of giving up, they worked harder. Instead of running away, they came together. Instead of fighting each other, they united against a common enemy. President Amanda Cross gave a speech to all human worlds. We face a great challenge, she said, but we face it together. We are not just fighting for our own lives. We are fighting for our children and their children. We are fighting for the right to exist in this galaxy. People watched her speech on screens in their homes, in their workplaces, and in their ships. When she finished, they went back to work with new determination. The aliens were coming. They had bigger ships and better weapons. They had more experience in war, but they did not understand what they were about to face. They were about to discover that humans do not give up. Ever. The first alien ships appeared near the colony world of Haven, like dark clouds covering the sun. Colonel Steve Parker watched them through his telescope from the command bunker. There were so many ships that they blocked out the stars. How many? Asked Lieutenant Sarah Bell. Steve counted carefully. At least 50 in the first wave. More coming behind them. The alien ships were huge, much bigger than any human vessel. They moved slowly through space, their hulls gleaming with strange metals. Gun ports opened along their sides like hungry mouths. All units, this is Colonel Parker. Steve spoke into his radio. The aliens are here. Remember your training. Protect your families. Fight hard. Across the colony, people took their positions. Farmers hid behind walls they had built from their tractors and hay bales. Shop owners set up weapons in their stores. Even children helped by carrying supplies to the fighters. The alien commander, war leader Thex of the hegemony race, looked down at the small human colony. His people had conquered hundreds of worlds. This should be easy. Send the surrender demand. Thex ordered his communication officer. The message reached Colonel Parker a few minutes later. A strange voice spoke in broken human language. Small humans of this dirt world, you are weak. We are strong. Surrender now, and we will kill you quickly. Fight us, and you will suffer. Steve looked at Sarah and almost smiled. Send them our reply. Sarah keyed the radio. Alien ships, this is Haven Colony. We have a message for you. Come and take it. War leader Thex was confused. Young races always surrendered when they saw the power of the hegemony fleet. These humans were acting wrong. Begin the bombardment, Thex ordered. Show them our strength. Blue energy beams shot down from the alien ships. They hit the colony's outer defenses, destroying guard towers and communication stations. The ground shook and smoke filled the air, but the humans did not surrender. Instead, they fired back. The colony's defense guns were small compared to alien weapons, but there were many of them, hidden all around the settlement. They shot streams of bullets and rockets at the alien ships. Most of the human weapons bounced off the alien shields, but some got through. One alien ship started leaking air from a hole in its hull. Impossible, War Leader Thex said. Their weapons are too weak to harm us. But more human weapons fired from hidden positions. The colonists had been very clever. They had dug tunnels under their town and hidden guns everywhere. Every time the aliens destroyed one weapon, 2 more started shooting. Dan Mitchell was a cargo ship captain who had been visiting Haven when the attack started. His ship was not built for fighting, but Dan did not care. When he saw alien landing craft heading for the town, he made a choice. "Computer, set ramming course for the biggest landing ship," Dan ordered. "Warning, collision course will result in destruction of this vessel," his computer replied. "I know," Dan said. "Do it anyway." Dan's cargo ship slammed into the alien landing craft at full speed. Both ships exploded in a ball of fire. The alien soldiers inside never made it to the ground. War leader Vex watched his landing craft explode and felt something he had not felt in years: surprise. The human pilot had destroyed his own ship just to stop one alien transport. "Send more landing craft," X ordered, "and increase bombardment." But the humans kept fighting. Every street became a battlefield. Every building became a fortress. The aliens had expected to conquer the colony in 1 hour. Instead, they fought for 3 days and still had not won. On the mining station Ceres, Station Chief Carol Torres faced an even bigger problem. The alien fleet attacking her station had over 100 ships. Carol had only mining equipment and 300 workers. "We can't fight ships with mining lasers," said her deputy, Mike Chun. "Watch me," Carol replied. She ordered the mining crews to aim their rock-cutting lasers at the alien ships. The lasers were designed to cut through solid rock. They worked pretty well on alien hulls, too. When alien soldiers tried to board the station, they found that humans had turned the mining tunnels into a maze of traps and ambushes. Workers who had spent years digging through asteroids were very good at fighting in tight spaces. The battle for Ceres lasted for 5 days. When it was over, the human miners had destroyed 12 alien ships and captured 2 more. Carol Torres became the first human to interrogate alien prisoners. "Why are you attacking us?" Carol asked the alien captain. The alien, a creature that looked like a giant bug, clicked its mandibles. "Young races must be stopped before they become dangerous." "Dangerous to who?" Carol asked. "Dangerous to the old ways. Dangerous to order. You humans change too fast. You adapt too quickly. You must be controlled or destroyed." Carol laughed. "Well, you're right about one thing. We do adapt quickly." Back on Earth, teenager Alex White was having the time of his life. He had hacked into the alien communication network and was listening to their battle reports. What he heard made him excited. "Jake, you have to hear this." Alex called to his friend over their computer connection. "The aliens are panicking. They expected us to surrender after the first attacks. Instead, we're fighting back harder than they thought possible." Jake Martinez was monitoring alien ship movements from his home in Texas. "I'm seeing the same thing. They're sending distress calls to their main fleet. They're asking for reinforcements." "Send everything to Admiral Davis," Alex said. "The military needs to know that we're winning." On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Frank Davis read the reports from the young hackers with amazement. Human colonies were not just surviving the alien attacks. They were fighting back and winning. "Sir, we're getting reports from all over human space," said his aide. "The aliens are taking heavy losses, much heavier than they expected." Frank smiled. "They studied us for 50 years, but they studied the wrong things. They learned about our weapons and our ships. They didn't learn about our spirit." Dr. Nathan Brooks was working faster than he had ever worked in his life. His research team had found the weakness in alien shield technology. Now they were modifying human weapons to exploit that weakness. "The new frequency settings are ready," Nathan announced. "If we can get this information to our fleets, our weapons will be 10 times more effective against alien shields." "Transmitting to all human forces now," said his communication officer. The effect was immediate. Human weapons that had barely scratched alien ships before now punched through their shields like paper. Alien commanders who had felt safe behind their powerful defenses suddenly found their ships taking serious damage. On the colony world of New Texas, rancher Bill Henderson watched alien landing ships approach his ranch. He was too old to be soldier, but he was not too old to fight. Bill climbed onto his hoverbike and rode straight at the alien landing craft. He had strapped dynamite to his chest and was smiling like a madman. "Yee-haw!" Bill shouted as he crashed into the alien ship. The explosion destroyed the transport and saved his small town. Stories like Bill's spread across human space. An old woman on Europa who threw homemade bombs at alien soldiers. A group of children on Titan who used their remote-controlled toys to spy on alien positions. A priest on Luna who turned his church into a weapons depot. The aliens had expected to fight human soldiers. Instead, they were fighting entire populations. Every human, from babies too young to walk to grandparents too old to run, was part of the resistance. War leader Dex sent a desperate message to the main purification fleet. Human resistance is much stronger than predicted. Request immediate reinforcements. Repeat. Request immediate reinforcements. The reply came back quickly. Denied. You have overwhelming force advantage. Complete your mission. Dex looked at his battle reports. He had started with 50 ships. Now he had only 30 that could still fight. The humans had started with mining equipment and farming tools. Now they had weapons that could pierce his best shields. For the first time in his long military career, War Leader Dex was afraid. These humans were not like other young races. They did not give up. They did not break. When pushed, they pushed back harder, and they were just getting started. Deep in the frozen halls of Nexus Prime Station, something strange was happening. The 12 sleeping council members began to twitch in their glass pods. Their peaceful dreams were turning into nightmares. Council Speaker Zethkar, leader of the ancient Vorthan race, saw flashes of violence in his sleeping mind. Ships exploding, people dying, wars raging across the galaxy. His species had a gift for sensing great disturbances in the peace of space. Even in his frozen sleep, he could feel that something terrible was happening. In another pod, Counselor Mir of the Crystalline Folk felt the same dark dreams. Her people were connected to all living things through energy fields. The pain and fear of billions of beings reached her even through the walls of her stasis chamber. The Council's computers registered the stress readings from the sleeping aliens, but did nothing. They were programmed to wake the Council only when the human problem was solved. Until then, the ancient beings would sleep and dream of the war their machines had started. Captain Tony Garcia flew his stealth ship through the darkness between stars. His mission was simple but dangerous. Capture an alien command ship and bring back their officers for questioning. Tony had volunteered for this mission because he was tired of fighting blind. The aliens knew everything about human tactics from 50 years of watching. But humans knew almost nothing about alien military thinking. Target in sight, Tony told his crew. Remember, we need prisoners, not wreckage. The alien command ship was smaller than the big warships, but covered with communication equipment. Tony's ship was invisible to alien sensors, a new technology that human scientists had developed by studying captured alien equipment. Boarding tubes ready, said his weapons officer, Lisa Park. We'll have maybe 10 minutes before they figure out what's happening. 10 minutes is all we need, Tony replied. The human boarding party cut through the alien hull like it was made of paper. New human cutting tools, improved with alien technology, could slice through any known metal. The aliens inside had no time to send a distress signal. 20 minutes later, Tony's ship was flying back to human space with 5 high-ranking alien prisoners. The interrogation would change everything. Commander Veltar of the Hegemony military sat in a human prison cell, still shocked by what had happened. His command ship was supposed to be safe behind the battle lines. Humans were not supposed to have stealth technology. Humans were not supposed to be able to cut through Hegemony armor. How did you capture us so easily? Veltar asked his human guard. The guard, a young woman named Jenny Walsh, smiled. We learned from you. Every piece of your technology we captured, we studied and improved. Thanks for the education. Veltar's 4 eyes went wide. Impossible. Hegemony technology is beyond primitive understanding. You keep saying that, Jenny replied. But you're sitting in our prison cell, so maybe you're wrong. The interrogation revealed shocking information. The aliens had been studying humans for 50 years, but their information was completely out of date. They thought humans still used chemical rockets and metal bullets. They had no idea that human technology had advanced so much. Even worse for the aliens, they discovered that humans had been improving alien technology and making it better. Human weapons now used alien power sources, but with human engineering. Human ships used alien metals, but with human design ideas. On Luna Base, engineer Helen Murphy was creating something that had never existed before. Ships that combined the best of human and alien technology. Her first design was called the Defiance, and it was beautiful. The Defiance looked like a human ship, but moved like an alien vessel. It had alien weapons, but human tactics computers. It could fight like both species at the same time. Who wants to test fly this beauty? Helen asked her team. Captain Rod Kelly stepped forward. I'll take her out. If she's half as good as she looks, the aliens are in for a surprise. The Defiance's first flight was amazing. The ship could move faster than any human vessel and hit harder than most alien ships. But the best part was how easy it was to fly. Human engineering had made alien technology simple to use. This changes everything, Rod reported back to Luna. Base, if we can build more of these, we can take the fight to them instead of just defending our worlds. Helen was already working on the blueprints for a whole fleet of hybrid ships. Human factories across the solar system began retooling to build the new designs. The war was turning. What had started as an alien invasion was becoming a human counterattack, intelligence. Officer Grace Lee worked in a small room deep under Earth's surface. Her job was to find the source of the alien invasion. After weeks of studying captured alien communications, she found something important. Admiral Davis, you need to see this, Grace called her commander. Frank Davis came down to the intelligence center and looked at Grace's findings. What am I looking at? The invasion isn't being run by current alien leadership, Grace explained. It's being controlled by an automated system. The real alien government has been asleep for 50 years. Frank's eyes went narrow. Asleep? In stasis pods, sir. Somewhere called Nexus Prime Station. If we can find that station and wake up their leaders, we might be able to stop this war. Frank thought about this for a long moment. Do we know where this station is? Grace smiled. I think I can find it. The aliens keep sending status reports to a location in the Vega system. If we can get there, we might be able to end this war by talking instead of fighting. Frank finished. Meanwhile, the aliens were learning that fighting humans was much harder than they had expected. Every battle cost them more ships. Every victory came at a price. They could barely afford. War leader Vex had lost half his fleet trying to take one human colony. Commander Veltar was missing, probably captured. Other alien commanders were sending similar reports from across human space about the purification. Fleet had expected to conquer humanity in a few days. Instead, they had been fighting for weeks and were losing ground. Human resistance was not breaking. It was getting stronger. On the agricultural world where Ben Taylor lived with his daughter Katie, The family watched alien ships burning in their sky. Human fighters had arrived to drive off the invasion force. "Are the bad aliens gone, Daddy?" Katie asked. Ben hugged his 8-year-old daughter. "The ones that came here are gone, but there might be more coming. Will our soldiers stop them too?" Ben looked up at the stars where human and alien ships were still fighting in the distance. "Yes, sweetheart, I think they will." Dr. Chris Adams, the alien language expert, was studying the latest intercepted communications. What he heard made him excited. "General Robinson, the aliens are scared," Chris reported. "Their communications show panic. They're asking their commanders for permission to retreat." "What are the commanders saying?" the general asked. "That's the interesting part. The commands are coming from computers, not living beings. The computers are ordering the aliens to keep fighting no matter what the cost." General Robinson understood immediately. "So the alien soldiers want to stop fighting, but their machines won't let them." "Exactly. If we can find those computers and shut them down, the war might end without any more bloodshed." The tide of war was turning. Human colonies that had been under attack were now launching their own strikes against alien fleets. Human ships were hunting alien vessels across space. The hunters had become the hunted, but the biggest change was in human confidence. They had faced the worst the aliens could throw at them and survived. Now they knew they could win. President Amanda Cross addressed the nation again. "My fellow humans, we have faced a great test and proven ourselves worthy. We did not start this war, but we will finish it. And we will finish it as humans always do, together." The sleeping council members' nightmares were getting worse. Even in their frozen dreams, they could sense that their automated systems had made a terrible mistake. The humans were not being destroyed. The humans were winning. Soon someone would come to wake them up. And when they opened their eyes, they would find that the galaxy had changed forever. Admiral Frank Davis stood on the bridge of his flagship as it approached Nexus Prime Station. Behind him flew the largest human fleet ever assembled. They had fought their way through 3 alien defense lines to reach this place. "There it is," said Dr. Lisa Chong, pointing at the massive station floating in space. "The source of all our troubles." The station was beautiful in a cold alien way. It was made of crystal and metal that seemed to glow with its own light, but it was also heavily defended. Automatic weapon platforms surrounded it like a deadly. "Crown, begin the attack," Frank ordered. Human ships opened fire on the station's defenses. The new hybrid weapons, designed by Helen Murphy and her team, cut through alien shields like they were made of paper. One by one, the weapon platforms exploded in bright flashes. But Frank was not here to destroy the station. He was here to wake up the beings inside it. "Prepare the boarding teams," Frank said. "We're going in." Inside the station, the defense computers were sending frantic signals to the sleeping council. The systems had been programmed to wake the council members only when the human problem was solved. But the humans were not supposed to be able to reach the station itself. The computers were confused. Their programming did not include instructions for what to do if humans actually won the war and came looking for the council Dr. Pete Collins led the human boarding party into the station's central chamber. He was an expert in alien biology who had studied every known species in the galaxy. But even he was amazed by what he found. 12 glass pods stood in a circle, each one containing a different type of alien. The beings inside floated in blue, liquid, their bodies preserved in perfect condition. They had been sleeping for 50 years. "My God," whispered Pete's assistant, Julie Reed. "They're still alive." "Barely," Pete said, checking the readings on his portable scanner. "The stasis process is breaking down. If we don't wake them up soon, they'll die in their sleep." Frank Davis entered the chamber with a squad of Marines. He looked at the sleeping, aliens, and felt a strange mix of anger and pity. These beings had tried to destroy humanity, but they had done it while unconscious. Their computers had started a war without their knowledge. "Can you wake them up safely?" Frank asked Pete. "I think so, but it will take time. Each species needs different chemicals to bring them out of stasis. If I make a mistake, I could kill them." "Then don't make a mistake," Frank said. "We need to talk to them." Pete and Julie worked for hours, carefully adjusting the chemicals. In each stasis pod, one by one, the alien council members began to wake up. It was a slow process, like watching someone rise from a very deep sleep. The first to wake was Council Speaker Zeth Carr. His eyes opened slowly, and he looked around, in confusion. The last thing he remembered was the debate about humans 50 years ago. Now he was looking at humans standing in his council chamber. How Seth Carr's voice was weak from his long sleep. "Council Speaker," Frank said in a respectful tone. "I am Admiral Frank Davis of the Human Defense Fleet. We need to talk." Zeth Carr tried to sit up in his pod, but was too weak. "Humans? How did you get here? Where are my guards?" "Your guards tried to stop us," Frank replied calmly. "We had to fight our way through your defenses. Your automated systems have been trying to exterminate my species for the past 2 months." Zeth Carr's confusion deepened. "Exterminate? That's impossible. We were only debating your membership application. The computers were supposed to monitor the situation and report back when we woke up." "Speaker, how long do you think you've been asleep?" Dr. Chong asked gently. "A few days at most. We entered stasis 3 days ago to avoid making a hasty decision about the humans." Frank and Lisa exchanged glances. "Council Speaker, you've been asleep for 50 years. Your computers decided to solve the human problem by ordering our destruction." The color drained from Zeth Carr's alien features. 50 years? That's impossible. Other council members were beginning to wake up. Counselor Mir of the Crystalline Folk opened her jewel-like eyes and immediately sensed the pain and confusion in the chamber. "So much death," she whispered. "I can feel it across the galaxy. What have we done?" Dr. Pete Collins helped each council member out of their stasis pods. Most were too weak to stand, but their minds were becoming clearer with each passing minute. "Explain what happened," demanded Counselor Vex of the Warcast species. "How did primitive humans reach our most secure station?" Frank's jaw tightened at the word primitive, but he kept his voice level. "Your computers sent the purification fleet to destroy all human colonies. They expected us to surrender quickly. Instead, we fought back." "Impossible," scoffed Counselor Tor of the Tech Masters. "Human technology is centuries behind ours. You couldn't possibly challenge the purification fleet." Julie Reed stepped forward with a tablet showing battle footage. "Maybe you should see for yourself." The council members watched in shock as the video showed human forces defeating alien fleets. They saw farmers with mining equipment destroying alien landing craft. They saw human children hacking alien communication systems. They saw entire human colonies refusing to surrender, even when facing overwhelming odds. "This cannot be real," Counselor Vex said weakly. "It's very real," Frank replied. "Your people underestimated us. They studied our technology from 50 years ago and thought we hadn't changed. They were wrong." Dr. Chong activated a holographic display showing the current state of the war. Red dots showed alien fleet positions. Blue dots showed human forces. There were far more blue dots than red ones. "As of this morning, the purification fleet has lost 60% of its ships," Lisa explained. "The remaining forces are in full retreat. Your invasion has failed." Council Speaker Zeth Carr stared at the display in disbelief. You're telling me that humans not only survived our most powerful military force, but defeated it? We're telling you more than that, Frank said. We could have destroyed this station and killed all of you. Instead, we chose to wake you up and talk. That should tell you something about who we really are. The council chamber fell silent, except for the humming of machinery. The ancient aliens looked at each other, then at the humans who had spared their lives. Counselor Mir spoke first. I can sense no deception from these beings. They speak the truth. We have made a terrible mistake. Worse than a mistake, Zethkar said sadly. We have committed a crime against an innocent species. Our prejudice and fear led us to attempt genocide. What do you want from us? Asked Counselor Tordot Frank, looked around the chamber at the assembled alien leaders. We want what we wanted 50 years ago. Recognition as equals. A place in the galactic community. Peace. After what we tried to do to you, you still want to. Join us? Zethkar asked in amazement. We don't want to join you, Frank corrected. We want you to join us. There's a difference. Dr. Chong stepped forward with a datapad. Council Speaker, we've been monitoring your species and others across the galaxy. Your civilizations have become stagnant. You've stopped growing, stopped exploring, stopped dreaming of new possibilities. Humans haven't stopped, Julie added. In the 50 years you were asleep, we've colonized 100 worlds. We've developed new technologies your computers never imagined. We've created art and music and literature that would amaze you. Frank nodded. You were afraid that humans would disrupt your orderly galaxy. You were right. We will disrupt it. But disruption isn't always bad. Sometimes it's exactly what's needed. The council members looked at each other uncertainly. They had spent centuries maintaining the status quo, keeping the galaxy peaceful and unchanging. The idea of embracing chaos and growth was frightening. What guarantee do we have that humans won't conquer us all? Counselor Vex asked. Frank smiled. The same guarantee you gave us. None. But we're offering you something your stagnant civilizations haven't had in centuries. Hope for the future. Council. Speaker Zethkar slowly stood up from his recovery chair. He was still weak, but his mind was clear. 50 years ago, we debated whether humans were ready to join our council. Now I see we had it backwards. The question isn't whether humans are ready for us. It's whether we're ready for humans. He walked slowly to Frank and extended his hand in the human gesture of greeting he had learned decades ago. Admiral Davis. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally recognize humanity as a full member species with all rights and privileges thereof. Frank shook the alien's hand. Thank you, Council Speaker. But I think you misunderstood. We're not asking to join your council. We're asking you to join ours. The other council members looked shocked, but Zethkar began to laugh. It was a strange sound coming from an alien throat, but it was genuine laughter. A human-led galactic government? That would certainly be a disruption. The biggest one in galactic history, Frank agreed, but also the most necessary one. 6 months later, the war was over. The Purification Fleet had surrendered completely. Their former commanders now worked alongside human officers, learning new ways of thinking about warfare and peace. The old Galactic Council Station became the first embassy of the new Terran Alliance. Representatives from dozens of species came to learn from humanity and to offer their own knowledge in return. Katie Taylor, now 9 years old, stood in the observation deck of the embassy and watched ships from 100 different worlds coming and going. Her father, Ben, whoa,